scary. And then with Philly, with Paul George coming back playing reckless type basketball, he's playing like he's trying to prove something. Like he's trying to make the All-Star team. But he feel like,
Right.
they script. Like sometimes you don't realize how hungry you are until they take your food. And right now, by sitting him down in 25 games and not allowing him to play, I think he came back hungry. So with Maxey, him, and Embiid playing, Embiid being healthy, right now, they are a scary matchup.
They mad, they hate me and irritated. Wow. Close your mouth, you can save it without a doubt. Yeah. You won't claim it, you is a slouch. Live in your mom basement. They mad, they hate me and irritated.
What it do? What do? It's your boy Lifeline. Lifeline was this bring to you GOAT metrics. You got Benny Blanco in the building. How you doing, B?
What's going on, man? Everything is gravy like chicken when it's smothered, baby.
Man, that's what's up, man. We only got like one more week left in the NBA season, so we're gonna jump right to it. I know you told me you didn't watch the Wemby versus Joker. You was doing some family time, but the game went down to the wire. Um, the Spurs was leading most of the game. It took like the fourth quarter before Denver took a lead, and then went into overtime off Wemby took a shot, a fadeaway shot. I don't even know why he took. He took a fadeaway, running fadeaway shot, like going left, like he missed, and then went to they went into the overtime, and Denver pulled it out. But I want to read something to you real quick, right? I want to read you the stats of the game. So we're going to 5 statistical categories. So Wemby had 34 points, 18 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, and 5 blocks. And Jokic had 40 points, 8 rebounds, 13 assists, 0 steals, and 3 blocks. And these guys right here is the top guys for MVP. Wemby campaigning for himself. I'm sure you heard about it. Wemby campaigning about himself.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
for this matchup right here, how do you feel about what you heard, like what was put out? And then do you feel like Wemby is saying too much? Because say he the best defender in the league, and then Jokic have a crazy night like this.
Well, it's definitely prime time. This is a great matchup. Um, it's good to see two guys going head to head like that. And wow, the numbers speak volume for both players.
Yeah.
But I think experience with Denver, came through today.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean nothing in the playoffs. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
playoffs is a different beat. But you
That's
gotta be impressed with Wemby and everything and his belief in himself.
mm-hmm.
Um, I'm very impressed with that, and I like it. I like it.
Now I do too. And when you talked off camera, because you said something like Jokic might need this win more because the Spurs kind of got their spot in, like they're gonna be the second seed regardless. They're gonna be the second seed. They could possibly get number one, but right now with that loss, they definitely second seed. But the thing about this
Mm,
game, the experience, I'm a little confused about or concerned about the experience because the Spurs have the talent. They got the best defender. They got the youngest team. They got so many good players, you know? Fox had a bad game. He was 7 for 19. He had a bad shooting night, and they
mhm,
talked about during the game that he's stepping back and letting the young guys shine because he could average 27, 26 a game. But he's letting the young guys
right,
shine. But I'm just, one of my dudes said this. When Fox came into the league, he inherited a bad team. So they
right.
never really was a good team. So right now on the Spurs, besides Harrison Barnes, they don't have no winners. Do you think by not having no players that won on a on the organization. Do you think that might hurt the Spurs when it comes to playoff time?
Um, that's a very good question, and it remains to be seen, man. It remains to be seen, but it's basketball. You know what I'm saying? So just because you're young and unexperienced, and you might face some teams that have experience and been there. Listen, it's basketball, so your style of play could cause all types of mismatches and cause fits for the other team. So and that doesn't even matter if you're a young team. I played against a lot of young players and they gave me fits. I didn't like it, but I had to deal with it.
Now when you look at it like that, but this is the highest this is the highest basketball. I always say it's basketball. You lace up your shoes and you play hard. You know what I'm saying? But this is the
Mhm.
highest level. So now it's like, is it just basketball or this the biggest stage? And if you never played on the stage, you might get stage fright. You might, and
Mm.
Wemby, he's he's been playing on teams that, international teams. So he's played in different Olympic teams. He probably have more elite game experience than the other guys. But how much can that help the other guys? Will they feed off of him? And right now I pulled up something. That's why I was looking away when you was talking. I was trying to pull up something. So I wasn't prepared. But when you started talking, and then when I read their stats, right now, Jokic kind of own Wemby. So right now, I would take Denver in the playoffs. In the playoffs, I would take them over because right now, I'm looking at the stats right now. They played 7 games. Jokic got 5 and Wemby got 2. And they all in the regular season. Jokic averaged 37.3, 10.9 rebounds, 9.1 assists, 1.1 steal, and 1.4 blocks. Wemby averaged 26.4, 15 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 1.2 steals, and 4.3. And their highest game so far, Jokic averaged 46 and Wemby averaged 34. So Wemby was around what he normally get, like his highest. So with that being said, Jokic kind of owned him. Jokic get him on the points by like 11 points more, you know?
Wow.
So Jokic been owning him. So and when the season started, right? Like, I'm glad Seven here because we can talk a little bit long. When the season started, I picked Denver and New York, and right now I'm sticking with them. I feel like OKC could beat them, but then last year OKC had a hard time with Denver. OKC had a hard. They went to 7 games. So, how do you feel about knowing that Jokic have a different, his stats look crazy over Wemby right now? Do you still feel good? Like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no doubt.
yeah. So 'cause that's what, because some teams you just can't beat because the matchups is too different.
Um, well, listen, we could just look at history. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And we'll get to my Knicks, but I feel the same way about my Knicks. But getting back to this. So let's look at history. And history says it takes a few years for you to get over the hump and make that playoff push to go all the way. Mike went through it. You know what I'm saying? Mike went through it with Detroit. This is not made up stuff. This is facts. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Mike had to get over the whole Detroit Pistons thing and then to take him to where he needed to go. So I think this is where Wemby is at now. The numbers are spectacular. He's showing the world who he is. But listen, let's not escape the NBA or basketball. Unless he's super special, you got to go through it. And when I say you got to go through it, you got to take your lumps. You got to take your L's, just like Mike did, just like every superstar did. So I think that's where it's at right now. You know, we will
Mhm.
see. We will see what type of player or team, but you know what I'm saying? I think that's where it lies. They have to get over a few humps before they reach the promised land.
Okay, okay, I got you. I got you. Like you said, what you said, time will tell. Like the playoffs is right around the corner too. Now let's get to this
Burn.
Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag having 51 points. I'm gonna let you speak on him getting 51 points because I'm gonna pull up his stat line. I'm gonna pull up his stat line, and then we'll talk about him and um Knuckle, like the rookie race. But how do you feel about Cooper Flag being a teenager, the first teenager to have 50 points?
It's amazing. It's
Mm,
amazing, and all credit to him. The one thing I've been hearing around the league when people speak about Cooper is his competitiveness, which is
yeah,
needed to be a superstar. You know,
yeah.
and even at a young age, his competitiveness is top notch. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I think the 50 points is evidence of that.
Yeah,
Um, but you know, another thing is it the NBA that we're living? Is it the NBA that we're currently acquiring? Because it's not the NBA, the same NBA back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say, for example, back in the 90s, they see this rookie giving everybody the business. He's just gonna end up on his back because you know these big men ain't gonna have it. So I think
yeah.
it's part of how the NBA is right now. But all credit to Flag. Very impressive. And I do love his competitiveness, even at an early age.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I'm campaigning for him. I feel like right now, the numbers that he put up, right? And I'm gonna read this to you. His field goal percentage was 63%. And as a 19-year-old, that was excellent. So he was 19 for 30. He shot 6 for 9 at 3 pointers. He was 7 for 7 at the free throw line. He had 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. You know, his team lost, but he was, um, he was -2 points on a differential. But that just lets you know. But they lost by double figures. You know what I'm saying? But the whole thing, I
Okay.
mean, when he had these big games, because he had that type of when he had 49, he had them type of stats. Like he barely
Right.
missed anywhere. You know, he barely missed. He shot a good field goal percentage. He shot good from the threes. He shot good from the free throw line. You know, I'm very impressed with this. And so both of us is impressed with this. And then from to have 49 in January and then 51 in March, well, in April, it's just real big. So, but I'm gonna ask you one thing. Do you feel like him getting the 49 points and 51 points put him ahead of Knuckle in the rookie of the year race?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. This is rare. You don't see this. And I mean, quite frankly, do I think that Corneple could do this? I don't think he has it in him. Not right now, anyway.
Mm,
Um, and the Flag does. And again, it goes back to his competitiveness because the competitive is what's going to make him push him over the top. But nah, man, definitely, it has to be Flag. And yes, the 49 and the 50 has a lot to do with it because he's straight up telling the world what else do I gotta do?
Yeah. Yeah. And the amazing thing about it, I got the highest 10-point games, right? I went a little deep with this because I'm trying to really campaign for Cooper Flag, right? Because right now we played basketball before. So we know when you playing with stars, you get to be open if you're a shooter. So right now, playing with the Hornets with Ball, Brandon, and Bridges is helping Knuckle because he's not the guy. Nobody's checking you because you're the guy. Right now, Cooper Flag is the guy because Kyrie's
Right.
hurt and they traded off Anthony Davis. So right now, he's the guy. He's the main guy everybody's trying to stop. So that 49 and 51 is very impressive. And then he had his 51 against Knuckle, and then Knuckle highest point he ever had was against Flag, was on January 29th of this year. So Knuckle high is 34. The most points he ever scored is 34 points. He got 33, 33, 32, 30, 29, 28, 28, 28, 28. That's Knuckle. So he got from 34 to 28 is his highest. I'm reading Cooper Flags off on you. Cooper Flag his top 10 highest scoring games: 51, 49, 42, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 32, 29. So he almost have 10 games of scoring 30. He might get one more, but he'll have 10 games scoring 30, and he got 3 games scoring over 40. But this where it gets real different. You know I'm a stat man, so this where it gets different. I'm gonna read these stats to you. This is Cooper Flag versus Knuckle. Cooper Flag,
Okay.
I'm gonna go first. Now I'm gonna go Knuckle first. Knuckle average 18.8 rebound, 18.8 points a game, 5.4 rebounds a game, 3.4 assists, 0.7 steals, and 0.2 blocks. Now we go to Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag averaged 20.8 points a game, 6.6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 1.2 steals, and 0.9 blocks. So Flag's stats, he's better in rebounding, points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. He got higher than Knuckle at everything. So how can Knuckle be? I'm gonna tell you, is the 3-point field goal. The 3-point field goal is where the separation is. And since you're a shooter, how do you feel about Knuckle shooting?
Right.
And should the 3-point shooting push him over the top?
I appreciate the shooting, but no, it's not gonna push him over the top. And no disrespect to him, he's had a great year as well. All props to him. But basketball, there's a lot of aspects to basketball. There's shooting, there's passing, there's defense with steals, rebounding, and blocks. So, you just threw those numbers at me, and I'm like, yo, is it really a debate at this point? To me, it's not. Um, I think Flag got it because he's the better all-around player. Cornepo is the better shooter. Let's just be honest about it. He's the better shooter. But
Yeah, I
Flag is
agree.
the better all-around player.
And I agree. See, right now, I'm looking at it right now, right? This is the 3-pointers made. Knuckle, 264. So he's leading the league in 3-pointers. Then there's Luka Doncic
Wow.
at 254. Then there's LaMelo Ball, 248. So Charlotte got 2 of the top 3-point guys in the league right now who made the most 3-pointers.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it just depends how you look at it. But I'm like you. 3-pointers is a part of the game, but the points, the total points is the main thing of the game. Because you can win 7 for 7 or you could even went 10 for 10 for 3-pointers. If a guy got 50 and you went 10 for 10 for 3 points and you got 37 points, did you have a better game? Or did you shoot better from 3-point range? And that's where I'm at right now.
Absolutely.
I'm the better shooter, Flag the better
Yep.
all-around player. And
There
if
you
they
go.
don't give them Cole, Cole Rookie of the Year, Cooper Flag got robbed. All right, Benny. You about to ask you a question right here. Do you think seeding for the playoffs is more important in the East or more important in the West? You think like more East teams need the proper seeding to advance? And you're a New York fan. Or do you feel like teams in the West need proper seedings to advance? How you feel about that? Who needs the seeding the most? The East or the West?
Well, that's getting down to analytics, numbers, stats, this, that. You know what I mean? Which is all good. But listen, it's basketball. Once you step on that court, all the numbers go away. You got to play the game, especially in the playoffs. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So all that, you could sit there and be like, oh, you know, well, matchups, to tell you the truth, matchups has a lot to do with it. So if forget all that. Forget all that. You got to play the game. It doesn't matter who you play. It doesn't matter who you play. You get on, man. You gotta produce. Whether the team you're playing against is better than you, or you know what I mean. You just gotta play, and that's why they got coaches. So
Oh.
if the other team they had a better record than you, it's up to the coach to dissect it and see what matchup they can't stop, because a team is not going to stop you 100%. You're going to have something to counter, and it's up to the coach to bring that out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, seeding does help, but at the end of the day, you got to play the game, baby.
You're right. You almost tripped yourself up. You were saying play the game, but as you start talking about matchups, you almost reeled it back and you turned the wheel. You like shot this way, then you turned it back. But I think right now, being a Knicks fan, I think this number 3 spot of playing Philly is gonna be scary. And this is one thing that yeah, and that's why I say it's more important for the East. It's more important for the East because I feel like the West, their top 3 or 4 teams is going to be good in the first round. In the East, a wrong matchup might do you in. Because that's even for Boston, and that's even for Detroit. Like, I hate to say this, and I'm with the home team right now. I'm campaigning for Charlotte Hornets. Like, if they make the playoffs, they're gonna be a very scary matchup. A very scary matchup. They got length, they got youth, they got grit. They're gonna be very scary. And then with Philly, with Paul George coming back playing reckless type basketball, he's playing like he's trying to prove something. Like he's trying to make the All-Star team. But he feel like, they script. Like sometimes you don't realize how hungry you are until they take your food. And right now, by sitting him down in 25 games and not allowing him to play, I think he came back hungry. So with Maxey, him and Embiid playing, Embiid being healthy, right now, they are a scary matchup. They're a scary matchup. So I feel like in the East, the seeding counts. The seeding matters. All right. Well, we're gonna get to the Knicks talk. I don't know what segment you do. I don't know if this is the Nichter scale. I don't know if it's the Can I Nick it?
Can
I
I
don't know
nick
what
it?
you are you on Can I Nick
nick
it?
it? Can I
Yes, you
nick it and
can.
can I kick it?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
And
You
let's
got
get
it.
wicked.
All right.
This is what it is, man. This is what it is. I've been a Knicks fan all my life, and I've watched many Knicks games. The other day they sat Brunson down You know,
Mm.
I see that Coach Brown, he's one of those coaches down the stretch, he's resting players, which is cool. I got nothing against it. He sat Brunson down, and we saw a different Karl Anthony Towns. How different?
Mm.
He had a triple double. He
Yeah,
had
I
a
seen that.
triple double. And you know what I saw on the offense?
What?
Everybody was involved.
Mm.
Everybody was involved. The offense ran through Cat at the high, either the high 3-pointer. You know, the court is spread. So he was getting the ball up top,
Yeah.
and he was the number one option. But what he was doing, he was hitting everybody off. And
Yeah.
then he started getting hits. Is that a knock on Brunson? Not at all. Brunson is a scoring point guard. He'll get his assists, but at the end of the day, he's a scoring point guard. So you have a situation where you got to utilize both guys' talent. And I kept saying this all year round. Run the offense through Towns, because he's the guy, you know what I'm saying? When Brunson's there, Brunson has the ball all the time. So you got to run through Towns. He's very talented. He could pass. He could shoot. He can do things. You know what I'm saying? We don't need Brunson to score 30 to 40. We already seen him do it. He's done it in the playoffs. There's nothing to prove. There's nothing to prove. Give me 20 and give me 10 assists, and I think that could take us to the promised land.
Okay, B. Okay. So now, by you saying that, right? So I don't got nothing to add on to it. That was a good take. But by you saying that, who need to who focuses that? Is that Brunson making it happen, or is it Mike Brown?
I truly, truly, and truly believe it. It's gonna have to come down to Brunson, and
Mm.
and listen. I've watched him. He's the best point guard we've had, and I'm biased, since Mark Jackson. You know, Mark
Oh,
Jackson's my favorite player, so I have not seen any point guards come through wearing a Knicks uniform since then that, you know, that Brunson is the best since that. Now, he's a different element. He's a scoring point guard. So you got to know how to deal with a scoring point guard, and at the same time involve the team. And that's where we at. And it's not even a difficult thing. I think Brunson's a very intelligent player. I think by sitting Brunson down and just watching Karl Anthony Towns have a triple double, that has to trigger in your mind. And if you're a true point guard, you got to sit there and be like, you know what? I don't need to score these points. Let me run through Carl. Let me get him involved. And fourth quarter, you know, you're Mr. Clutch. You're Captain Clutch. You're gonna do it. You've been doing it.
you know. Now, I'm with you. I'm with you. I just want to know because I feel like as the coach, they gotta run you. Yeah, Brunson is the quarterback. He's the quarterback. So you telling him he gotta go through Cat as the quarterback. But Mike Brown is the coach. You're supposed
Mm-hmm.
to get back to play. So I get it. Brunson could do it because he's on the floor, but Mike Brown gotta enforce that. So I'm with you though. I like that. Can I nick it, man? That was a good one because I feel the same. I've been saying this since last year about Cat being a focal point and Brunson, because Brunson could always get his shots, but he got to feed Cat to make sure
There you go.
everybody.
There
You
you
got to
go.
feed. All right.
Listen,
So
Showtime
got
Lakers. Magic is magic. But he knew he had to feed Kareem. He knew he
well,
had to feed Kareem.
yeah, yeah. I'm stat man. So I'm gonna read something. I'm gonna read something to you. I'm gonna read something to you. Well, I'm gonna have to read it from here that I pull over here in a minute. But this says, who knew? This is called Wilt Chamberlain's Legend. First of all, I'm gonna read his first 3 or 4 years in the league. Wilt Chamberlain came in 1959-60. He played 72 games. His first games as a rookie averaged 37.6 points, 27 rebounds, and 2.3 assists. They didn't have steals and blocks when he played, so you won't hear me say nothing about steals and blocks. Second year, 38.4, 27.2, and 1.9. Third year, 50.4, 25.7, 2.4. And his fourth year, 44.8, 24.3, and 3.4. Now, mind you, he averaged 20 rebounds like his first 9 seasons, 10 seasons in the NBA. And he averaged 30 points like his 7 straight years. So he averaged 30 plus and 20 rebounds like his first 7, 8 years in the NBA. And this is what I want to tell you about Wilt Chamberlain Legend. There's players that we respect that didn't average 20 points in a season. It's players that
No doubt.
So with Wilt Chamberlain right here, I just want to let people know this. It's one thing to have a great season, is another thing to have a great career. Wilt Chamberlain is 1-2 to average 30 points. Him and Mike averaged 30 points. The only 2 players in NBA history to average 30 points for their career. But he's the only guy that averaged a 20-20. Like, you got guys that average a double-double, and you got guys who average a 20-double, but you don't have a guys who average a 20-20. But this way it goes even further with his legend. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 30 points and 22.9 rebounds for his career and 4.4 assists. He's the only player in NBA history to lead the league in points, one time, rebounds, and assists. Jokic is the second. No, Jokic never led the league in scoring yet. So he's the only player in NBA history to lead the league. And just think about it. When he retired, this is the biggest thing. When he retired from the NBA, he was the all-time leading scorer, and he was the all-time leading rebound. And the only thing he didn't have was assists, because only 3 statistical categories when he played. So Wilt Chamberlain Legends is huge. There will be another, it won't be we probably never see a player in our lifetime average 20 rebounds, but we'll never see a player average 30 and 20. So that's Wilt Chamberlain
Well,
Legend. Who knew? All right,
well,
B.
you know what I'm saying? That's the big Wilt. Now, Wemby's young. Wemby's young. I think Wemby has the capability to reach, you know, a certain quote. Because when you look at Chamberlain, there's, he's out there dominating. And Wemby, I think, has that opportunity. It remains to be seen. But it's possible. Now, when you talk about Wilt Chamberlain, I'm going to take it back to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I saw an interview with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay.
And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar told the story that he was with Will on an elevator, and some dude gets in the elevator and says some slick, like, "Oh, how's the air up there?" And Chamberlain just spit on the dude. Just straight up spit on him. Because he was tough. I think what's underplayed about Chamberlain is toughness. Fine, he had all these stats or whatever, but nobody ever talks about his toughness, and he wasn't going to put up with no nonsense from anybody. And when I saw that interview from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which, that's my guy. He's a New Yorker. He's up there. he's up there in the GOAT metrics, as we know. When he tells this story, I'm just like, wow, that's crazy to me. And there was a lot with Chamberlain. Like he didn't take nothing from nobody.
Yeah, and that's one of the main reasons why Wilt Chamberlain is not considered the GOAT. Because on the GOAT metrics, we'll get back into the top 5 GOAT metric list by our points. And I want everybody to know the GOAT metrics is a point system that I created, and it came with titles, awards, and your stats, your all-time stats. I mean, it is a system that I'm surprised the NBA or other places haven't created. Because why
Right.
do you give awards? Why do you be the all-time assist guy? Why do you get? Why you it got to be for what? I mean, you did it, but now what do you get for that? Because if we're gonna say the GOAT is who we like, and the guys who put the work in to get it, then what we talking about? So that's why I put the total numbers. That's why I put awards, and that's why I put titles. And titles is always over award. So a championship is only 5. Like a championship is 10 points. But being a scoring title is 10 points as well. So Luka get
Right.
10 points this year. So whoever on the
Right.
championship, yeah, all of them get 10. But it was harder for him to lead the league in scoring. That's something he did every day of the year. Every day of the
Right.
season, he went out that work in. Every game he had to put that work in. The NBA, to be an NBA championship, you only got to win 16 games. He had to play how many ever games that he played. And he might not even get the scoring title this year. That's another thing. Before we go, bro, I'm glad I spent it to that. I wanted to put this question. I didn't write it down, though. How do you feel about the 65 points, the 65 games that NBA players got to play? And there's a lot of guys right now that's not going to make 65. So really, Luka might not get his scoring title this year. It might go to
Ooh.
Shea. Yeah, it might go to Shea. I don't know. Maybe the scoring title, it don't matter. But he won't be all NBA. So there's a lot of guys gonna step into the all NBA. Ant-Man, Luka hurt. He won't hit 65. Cade, he won't hit 65. How do you feel about the 65 and these guys not gonna make it?
I think it's bogus. Um, I think you should be judged when you're on the court. Well, why would you be judged when you're not on the court? You know what I'm saying? Um, like my man OG on the Knicks. I'm the Knicks assist, so I'm gonna bring it back to the Knicks. Um, OG for the first time, he might hit that 65 game and then considered to be either first team or second team all defense. But man, he's one of the best defenders in the league. When he steps in the court, this is what he does. So judge him when he's on the court, not when he's missing games.
Nah, I get that. And the NBA put that out because a lot of players was taking a lot of time off. And I even thought Kyrie did that before. I thought at times Kyrie would get
Mm,
his stat high and then fake injuries for the rest of the year because it keep his
wicked.
numbers up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like don't want to play because or be scared to come back because they don't want to hurt their numbers. You know,
I see.
so that's
I see.
I, I respect Tatum and I get it. And I guess the 65. I think like this, right? I think they need to do a vote, right? And if a guy have over 60, he didn't get the 65 point. They should have a hearing to see, NBA vote with players and coaches. It'd be a 50-50 vote to see if that player should go up. Player because right
Right.
there, it got to be some kind of ruling, especially when it's injuries and you was on pace to have over 65. Because right now, unless these teams is really trying to save their players,
Right.
it's hurting them for the
Right.
gold
Now
matches.
that's a good point. That's a good point. And I think you know, Kawhi Leonard might fall into that category too, because I don't think nobody's missed more games than he has whenever he feels like, I need to get well. So yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But just judge by when you're on the court. They got to figure it out. Maybe, like you said, maybe voting would be the best thing for that.
Yeah. Or if they did the vote and then the guy would have won it, then have it where no, I guess you can't do that because then I guess see I'm about to say like the All-Star game. Like you was an all NBA, but another guy got in because he had 65, you know? Like the All-Star
Right.
game, you still get your All-Star nominee, but you don't get, and I feel like personally, you should not drop out of the I feel like you ain't got 60. I got it right here, B. If you ain't got 65 games, you automatically go to the third team.
Mm,
Even if you number one, if you don't have 65 games, you go to the third. So
gotcha.
somebody else up. So we vote who's the guys, but you won't get all NBA consideration. You'll drop to number 3. But I think the NBA does this for the politics because when you get all NBA numbers, you get all NBA contract. So they don't
Gotcha.
want to get guys. So there's a lot of politics in it. But I think I got it. I think I broke the internet right now. But if if you play less than if you play over 60 games and you ain't at 65, and we know you're a top guy, just say if it was
Right.
Wemby, if he got
Right.
63 games,
Uh-huh.
is a travesty to not say he's all NBA. So
Exactly.
what we do,
Exactly.
he automatically dropped to the third team. It ain't because he's really third tier, but it's just because he didn't have enough games to get there. So I hope the
Right.
NBA really
Right. And
because
it comes down to, because look, injuries is part of the game. It's just reality. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And are you going to knock a player because he got hurt? That's just a little crazy. Um.
it's
So yeah, I think voting, they should like take everything into consideration, bring it into vote, and be like, okay, does this player deserve it?
no, I agree. I mean, is something else you want to drop before we get out of here, bro? I mean, this was a good show. What said with a child. I would love to hear his point of view. And he was supposed to do player of the month for March. And we're gonna do some defensive players of the month as well. Or the BS defensive player. That's the new
No doubt.
thing. But we got like 5,
But
6
yeah,
more
man,
games.
listen, the GOAT metrics, it got me on a lot of back and forth, man. Like, listen, Stockton might be the best point guard, man. I'm telling you. Like, yo, it's crazy what he did. And the
Yeah.
numbers don't lie.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I think we're gonna throw Timmy up there next week. Next week we're gonna
Ooh.
salute Tim and we're gonna tell you where
Right.
his GOAT is because John Stockton ain't just the best point guard by what he did, by his assist titles and all that. He's still like number 5 all time. See, I didn't go deep into that, but I think next year we're gonna do another GOAT metrics entry, and I think we're gonna bring up Tim Duncan and show you where he's at on the list because Tim Duncan is another guy that he's revered as a great player, but sometimes people forget what Tim Duncan really done from the
Yeah,
championship.
I'll give you a quick Tim Duncan stat. I think I had sent you something, but I came across another thing. Can you believe, out of all the years Tim Duncan played, he always had a 50-win season as he played.
Yeah,
50 wins every time he played. 50-win
that's
season.
I'm gonna have to write that down. I'm gonna have to look into that, bro.
Yo,
50 wins.
take a look at that. It baffled my mind. I said, holy mother, what are you talking about here? 50-win season every time he played.
I mean, he was a winner, and then he was a guy. He said he was, I think, one of the most things. Only discredit I say with Tim Duncan is this. He said he wasn't impressed with Michael Jordan. You know, I mean, Tim Duncan saying that. That's the only discredit I got. Everything else he did, you know, I appreciate. He got little blemishes too. He could have even been higher on the goal metric, but for Tim Duncan to be as tall as he was, he didn't lead the league in scoring. I mean, lead the league in rebounds that much. Like he got a lot of statistical stuff because he's the best. Like he has like maybe 15 all NBAs and like 15 all defensive. And those right there is ridiculous. That's what put him to one of the greatest players ever, because there's not too many guys who got double-digit defensive player of the year. And he has like 15. He might have the most all time. But we're going to talk about Tim Duncan next show. But B, we're going to get out of here, man. They'll say titles is earned and awards is given. Go metrics, bro.
No doubt, man. Peace.
You can save it without a doubt. You won't claim it. You is a slouch. Live in your mom basement. They mad, they hate, and irritated. Stop complaining. Stop back chasing. Can't wait for it. You gotta take it if you don't.